in order to establish the Megamotorcycles as a canon item, and not just something in that extra item line of farting, 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 farting.
Hello there, heroes. I'm Chomsky.
And I'm Kaizoku. Welcome to another Power Rangers Ninja Steel episode review.
Kids been reading these comments asking where we got to and all, so we figured we'd say a quick hello.
Things have been pretty quiet around here lately, so we've just been focusing on producing the reviews.
Yeah, gotta say, it's been kinda nice and all, just helping out behind the scenes. But don't you worry, we ain't slacking. I'm sure Silver Skull and his band of freakazoids are working on some kind of plan, and when they try something, we'll be ready.
We sure will, but for now, we're just here in the background, helping Sean get these reviews out to you.
Okay, we're gonna send things over to the kids, so enjoy the review,
and may the power protect you.
Well, I guess Chomsky already said it, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat it. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers Ninja Steel episode review. I hope you all enjoyed seeing our favorite robotic duo again. When those two heard that people in the comments were missing them, they were all too eager to get on camera and say hello. I'll try to work them into the show more as time allows. But that aside, let's get to work. The show took last week off while I took that opportunity to reproduce my review of Return of the Prism. But now we've got brand new episodes to review this week and next week, so let's get right to it. Here's my look at the 5th episode of Power Rangers Ninja Steel, Drive to Survive. First of all, I noticed something in the intro sequence this week. While they seem to be using the same narration now, the footage seems to be changing from week to week. This time there was a shot from last week's episode, and actually there's also a shot from this week's episode. These intro narrations get boring really fast, so it's nice to see them evolve in some small way. In shop class, the Rangers are actually doing shop things. Surprising, I know. Calvin has made a new motorcycle out of parts from 3 junkers. Sarah, of course, loves anything fast, so she begs to take a ride, after Calvin gets the first spin, of course. However, he actually defers to her, in fact insisting that she take the test drive. The Rangers ask what's going on, and with Haley's encouragement, Calvin makes a surprising admission. This team's resident grease monkey doesn't know how to drive. When Calvin was a kid, he crashed a go-kart into a pond, and he's been scared of driving ever since. But what about his beloved yellow truck, Nitro? Well, if you think about it, we've never actually seen Calvin driving Nitro. It's always Haley driving Nitro. I'm going to talk about this more in pros and cons, but I loved this scene. It's a great bit of backstory and character development for Calvin, and #Haven is being so well written. Brody suggests that Sarah can teach Calvin how to drive a motorcycle, and him as well, since he would like to learn. So apparently trucks he can drive right away, but on motorcycles he needs a little bit of tutoring? Seriously, one line. Sarah, you taught me how to drive the truck so fast, how about teaching us motorcycles next? Today's monster of the day is a spider named Tangleweb, who makes a glorious entrance by barfing up a Kudabot. After the opening credits, it goes to the school to look for the Rangers. Today, sadly, Victor and Monty are for the most part wasted, given an absolutely idiotic comedy subplot about eating beans to try and fart their way out of class. Monty is a nerd. Why would he want to get out of class? But funny enough, even here they tend to shine. When Monty sees a shrunken Tangleweb and jumps into Victor's arms, Victor doesn't yell at him or throw him aside, but offers to protect him and step on the spider, who tosses them aside and then grows. And then Victor is still brave, wanting to fight the monster. But the monster, of course, just webs them up and pushes them aside to go look for the Rangers. The webs around the two form a fart balloon, which is referenced 2 more times in this episode and 0 more times in this review. Over at motorcycle training, Brody is acting like the biggest moron on the entire planet. Seriously, this scene is not just stupid, it's dangerous and irresponsible. Nobody who is just learning how to ride a motorcycle should be doing these friggin' dangerous stunts. Come on, Power Rangers, teach better lessons. Of course, it's not like Sarah's doing any better, sticking Calvin on a kid's bike with basically no training and just saying, go! So, of course, Calvin goes crashing through the park, nearly injures 3 or 4 people, and then crashes into a trash can, flipping over and landing hard on his back. And the other Rangers basically just giggle at him and show no real concern for pretty much anything. Calvin's feelings are hurt, not to mention, of course, that he's embarrassed, and he goes to leave. Haley is once again incredibly kind and supportive, but for now the damage is done. As the other 4 Rangers leave, they run into the little spider, who grows into Tangleweb. The Rangers morph, with Tangleweb standing 2 feet in front of them, and doing absolutely nothing to try and stop them. Oh, and this is a small note, but more of the morph dance, as it's called, was transitioned over into the stock footage of the morph sequence. Tangleweb creates a vortex and sucks up 3 of the Rangers and Calvin's motorcycle. Brody takes on Tangleweb one-on-one with the power of eating puns, but that's not quite enough, and Brody gets sucked up as well, just as Calvin walks up on the situation. Tangleweb is full, so he retreats for now, with Calvin running to tell Mick and Redbot, who are making more Power Stars. Brody calls them for help from the inside of his helmet instead of his datacom. Somehow. Anyway, as they try to figure out what to do to save the Rangers, the Ninja Nexus Prism shows them Calvin's motorcycle. By now, as we've all figured out, if the Ninja Nexus Prism is showing you anything except its insides, it wants some ninja steel. Calvin tosses in a ninja star, and out comes this. Calvin realizes that this is likely going to involve needing to drive the motorcycle, but he's still scared and doubtful about driving. Mick gives us the episode's moral, but for once, it's actually fully involved in the episode, including the Ranger stuff. You cannot let your fears stop you from doing what's right, especially when it involves helping your friends. Calvin goes out to confront Tangleweb, who forms another vortex. Calvin jumps in on purpose, stops the webs that are launched at him, and places the new star on the motorcycle. The bike gets transformed into what Calvin later calls the Megamorph Cycle. These are toys. American toys. Most of this episode is centered around advertising a toy that does not come from the Sentai footage. I'm a little torn on what to think of that. On one hand, it feels kind of cynical writing an episode around advertising a toy. Power Rangers is a 24-minute toy commercial at its finest. On the other hand, because the bikes don't come from the Sentai footage, most of this episode is original footage. And it has been a little while since we've had non-Sentai motorcycles. So in that way, it's kind of refreshing. Also, this was actually weirdly reminiscent of how the villains in the Sentai Ninja would create monsters. They would stick a shuriken to a regular object. Anyway, Calvin psychs himself up on both sides of a commercial break and then morphs. And for me, that actually broke all the tension of needing to drive the motorcycle out, since I would assume his powers would assist him in piloting the new motorcycle. He rides out, and then the other Rangers are expelled because of reasons. Since I know the Sentai footage isn't going to allow for this too often, I love every time we see these Ninja Rangers actually act like ninjas, and this is an example. Sarah uses a water elemental attack to create fog, and the Rangers attack from multiple sides while Tangleweb can't see. "Soon you'll be cocooned forever," Tangleweb says. "You are a spider, not a caterpillar. You shoot webs, not cocoons." The overly wordy attack names dial got turned up to 11 this time, but this was at least visually impressive. The Rangers put their battle morphers into hyper mode for a combo attack. Sarah and Haley fire a hyper arrow blast, which is caught by Calvin and Preston with a hyper blade slash, with all that energy tossed up to Brody, who fires it down at Tangleweb with the hyper claw shred final attack. Weirdly, after Tangleweb is destroyed, but before he's gigantified, so I guess this was more reward than need, the prism shows Mick elephants, creatures that he does not recognize. He tosses in another ninja star anyway, and something starts happening. The crowd votes yes on Gigantifying Tangleweb, and the Rangers call their Zords. After a quick individual Zord battle, Tangleweb fires webs at the Zords that get them tangled up. Good naming, that. Brody calls Mick for help, and it just so happens that the prism spit out a new Zord star. Mick thinks they can use it to summon the legendary, why is everything in this show friggin' legendary, Rumble Tusk Zord. I'm not sure how he knew that when he didn't know what elephants were, but I suppose it was written in the legend of plot convenience. Mick tosses it to Brody, yes, from that far, and Brody summons it. The Rumble Tusk Zord is a green elephant that emerges from Random Mountain in the Somewhere mountain range. It inspires Brody to be able to cut himself free, something he wasn't able to do before and none of the other Rangers were able to do after. He jumps over to the new Zord, gust attacks Tangleweb, and sucks the webbing off the other Rangers and Zords. It then transforms into Ninja Zord mode, becoming a humanoid Zord like Robo-Red. A humanoid Zord? Why, that makes it perfect for the chair mechanic in the Megazord's chest. The Rangers form the Rumble Tusk Ninja Steel Megazord. And no, I didn't say that wrong, it's not Rumble Tusk Megazord, it's the Rumble Tusk Ninja Steel Megazord. Is Saban paying these writers by the word? The Robo-Red Zord becomes the Megazord's right arm, with its original right arm disappearing to the land of dreams and fairies, with the Rumble Tusk Zord sitting in the chest, new face, and dual axes. Maybe it was just me, but it seems like the Zord fight this week was a little more Michael Bay than usual. You heroes know what I'm talking about? That kind of Transformer-style battle footage, low angle, lots of shaky cam, stuff like that. Anyway, the Rangers finish off Tangleweb with the Rumble Tusk Ninja Steel Megazord Double Axe Final Attack. 9 freaking words! Villain wrap-up. I was praising you when your monster did well, but now it failed, so I'm gonna punish you, so clean the toilets, blah 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 blah. Calvin drives himself and Haley to the school, revealing to the other Rangers that he has gotten his driver's license. Haley bragging on her boyfriend that he got a perfect score on his driving test. Gee, we get to see one of the Rangers get their driver's license? You're an episode late there, Ninja Steel! Mick shows the Rangers that now each of them has a Megamorph Cycle Power Star. Except Calvin had to put his on a motorcycle. Does this mean each of the other Rangers needs to go find a motorcycle? Well, they may have Megamorph Cycle Power Stars, but I have scoring stars, and I'm gonna fling them.
Episode 5, Drive to Survive. Pros, the amazing #Haven relationship, nice character piece for Calvin, and good original footage. Cons, the reason for that footage is a little cheap, the Rumble Tusk part feels tacked on, and the weird motorcycle scene. Good character work elevates this one over its issues. Drive to Survive gets 4 Ninja Stars out of 5.
I don't think I'm able to stress enough just how well written and performed Haven is, and how refreshing it is to see. A real mature relationship on Power Rangers. 2 people who very clearly care deeply for each other that we're being allowed to observe. Haley is so supportive of Calvin, even when she had to drive him around everywhere. And even when Calvin's mad at everybody, Haley's able to get through to him for a minute. I mean, they even gave us an original Ranger shot of the 2. It's just so refreshing, and it really adds something to the show. And Haley aside, this was just a well-written episode for Calvin. The go-kart crash was another taste of childhood backstory like Preston's Magic Show, but to me it was deeper because it actually caused damage and delayed development in Calvin's life. And it also helped the moral of the episode finally apply to the Ranger stuff, since he had to overcome his fear to save his friends as the Yellow Ranger. And even though we're going to get to the reason in just a second, there wasn't a lot of Sentai footage in this episode. It was kind of sprinkled in there, but there was mostly American action sequences, which is always good to see. It's kind of clear where the money for that came from, and again, we're getting there. But I really like episodes with a lot of original footage, and that was really nice. And anytime Ninja Steel takes a step away from the Ninja, I am one happy Ranger. Transitional segue. This definitely seems to have been another Wild Force Rider and Forever Red situation. To just state it plainly, it seems like Bandai of America at least partially financed this episode in order to establish the Megamorph cycles as a canon item, and not just something over in that extra area of toys that aren't seen on the show. Unfortunately, realizing that gives this episode kind of a cheap feeling, since it has a very businessy motivation, even more than usual for Power Rangers. And that actually leads into the second con. I'm not really sure why the decision was made to have this be the episode that introduced the Megamorph cycles, but the Sentai footage this episode adapts is also the one that introduced the Rumble Tusk Zord. That leads to feeling like all of the Rumble Tusk stuff was kind of tacked on at the end, because most of the episode focuses on the Megamorph cycle. It especially feels that way when you consider that the Rumble Tusk is more or less given to Brody, when this is Calvin's focus episode. And I feel the need to once again point out that this is some nonsense. These stunts are dangerous to do even when you're a fully trained stunt person. To even imply that anyone that is just learning to ride a motorcycle should try this is, as I said, dangerous and irresponsible. Yes, I know, Power Rangers is being aired for 7-year-olds right now who are at least 10 or so years away from getting on a motorcycle themselves. But you can plant the seed of dangerous things in minds this young. It's just not a good look. To be honest, this episode actually kind of threw me for a loop, because I've been accusing Ninja Steel of focusing too much on the people and not enough on the Rangers. But the people stuff in this episode was actually well written this time and engaging, and the Ranger stuff felt kind of cheap and tacked on. So I'm praising this episode for something I've criticized the show for in the past. Sometimes that happens. So now it's time to find out what's going to happen in the 6th episode of Ninja Steel, My Friend Redbot, but stay tuned after that because there's something I want to ask you guys about my upcoming schedule.
Haley is targeted by Galvanax's latest monster. Isolated from the other Rangers, she and Redbot must work together to save themselves.
Nickelodeon has released the Power Rangers airing schedule for March, and it makes for a very interesting month. Power Rangers Ninja Steel will not be airing on Saturday, March 11th because it's not nominated for any Kids' Choice Awards. However, with the Power Rangers movie coming out on March 24th, and the desire to not have any competition between the two, Nickelodeon is going to be airing a double header of new Ninja Steel episodes on March 18th. Question 1. What should I do a video about on March 11th? Suggest a topic for me to cover related to Power Rangers, or heck, even not related to Power Rangers. Just toss me your topics, whatever you'd like to see me do a video about. I actually need some video topics for the hiatus as well, so toss as many suggestions at me as you would like, and we'll see what makes the list. Question 2. How should I handle the double header? Should I do separate videos for each episode? Or should I do a double-length review? Or should I try to squeeze my reviews of both into the length of one video? Make your suggestions below. And with that, we have reached the end of another Power Rangers Ninja Steel episode review. Thank you, heroes, so much, as always, for watching. Make sure to click the like button right down below to let me know you liked this video. Let me know what you thought of this episode and of my review of it in the comments down below. And subscribe to the channel to see all the Weekly Geekly. Also, make sure you ring that bell so you're notified of whenever I post new videos. Also, remember, if there's any kind of delay in my videos or you're wondering what's going on, you can check me out on social media on Facebook and Twitter. Also, since this video is being posted in March, sadly YouTube fan funding is now a thing of the past, so I can no longer tell you to go over to my channel page and click that blue support button, but I can say that during this year's hiatus I will announce new channel funding options, so look forward to that if you're interested. Until next time,
May the power protect you. We sure will, but for now, thank you, Squeak. Move!
Welcome to another Power Rangers Ninja Steel episode review, but offers to protect him by stepping on the spider, who tosses them aside and grows. Yep. The base Power Rangers is a 20-minute toy commercial at its finest, advertising a toy that take off the rails. The Rumble Tusk Zord is a green elephant that emerges from random mountain in the Somewhere mountain range. did perfect for the chest mechanic. The Rangers formed the Rumble Tusk Ninja Steel Megazord. No, I didn't. With its original right arm disappearing to the land of dreams and fairies, with the Alright, the good times. Okay, here we go. Anyway, the Rangers finished Tangleweb with the Yay! Rumble Tusk Ninja Steel Megazord Double Axe Final Attack. I hate it when I do that! Maybe it was just me, but the sword fight this week felt a little more Michael Bay than usual. You guys know what I'm talking about? That Transformers fight. I always get thrown off when I say, like, I have no hands. And Haley aside, this was just a well-written episode for Calvin. But it was just a nice, mostly original episode, and that was really refreshing. Transitional segue. It seems like this was a forever transitional segue. This definitely seems to have been a Wild Force writer and seriously.
Haley is targeted by Galvanax.
Question 1. What should I do a video about on March 11th? And with all that, we have reached the end of another Power Rangers Ninja Steel episode review. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Heroes Fart! Make sure to like the video by kicking the like button. Kicking the like button. Kicking the like button. That's what you do when you don't know what to say. Kicking the like button. Hey.